Influencing popular culture, politics, and everything in between. The local station takes you ringside as we discuss the crazy world that is professional wrestling. This is Going Ringside with The Local Station.
Hello there, and thank you for joining us on this episode of Going Ringside. So glad you could be with us on the show today. Got a great episode. Mega stars are here with us today. I was so excited to sit down with Trish Stratus and Lita, the two effective goats of female wrestling. And it's hard to say that just female. I mean, they're right up there. Any wrestler, doesn't matter. Greatest of all time. Trish Stratus, iconic, comes in right around the time as Lita. Kind of like you had Austin and The Rock, Andre and Hogan, Cena and CM Punk, or whoever. You had Trish and Lita. Putting on great matches, really reinventing how pro wrestling, views women. Prior to them, women were maybe a match here or there. You had a few women wrestlers. They came in and just formed what women's wrestling would become. Obviously, later on, there were other things with like Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, but it all started with Trish and Lita. More women came in, started being highlighted as real good performers on the backs of Trish and Lita. They were pretty much the two who started it all. We're so happy to sit down with them and chat about their career, their journey. Trish and Lita both still doing a lot right now. I even asked them a little about retirement because, I want to know, is this all done for you? You want to hear what they have to say. But let's get to it. And I do want to point out, also helping me on this panel interview which I conducted is the man you know as Top Dollar, AJ Francis. He sat alongside us and helped out with this interview. It's a bit of a Q&A. We had an audience. They asked some questions along the way. You'll hear the answers here. So let's get to it. Here is our great interview, must-see, with Trish Stratus and Lita. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Scott Johnson with the Going Ringside podcast.
He's from Channel 4.
From Channel 4. She knows. That's AJ Francis. And now let's talk to why you're here. Trish Stratus and Lita. Ladies, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. Trish.
Just a second. Thank you, Trish. We gotta change. Thank you, Trish and Lita. Thank you, Trish and Lita. It really rolls off the tongue.
I like it personally better when it does the thank you, Trish, and then that dies down, and then it just goes into a straight up classic Attitude Era, Lita. Just that. It's cleaner. It's cleaner that way. Thank you. Good job.
Well done, guys. Well done.
Well, let's talk about what you ladies are up to right now. You came to join all the fans here in Northeast Florida for the weekend. Trish, what are you up to right now in life?
Joining my friends here in North Florida.
Yeah.
Well, Canada's Got Talent. We just wrapped up our 3rd season. I'm a judge on that. That's
crazy.
been fun.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And then, doing these things. Lita and I have been doing a lot of these signings and meeting our friends and fans, and it's been super fun.
Lita, how about you? What is going on in your world?
Yeah, we are doing a little show that AJ is familiar with called Most Wanted Treasures.
What is that? I've never heard of it.
Yeah. We did a couple seasons of those, and our season finale will air next month. Hanging out with my friend, doing shows, meeting you guys. But I will say this season particularly, what I am doing is growing some bomb-ass tomatoes.
I wasn't sure how that was going to end. I'm not going to lie.
You're like, what's happening here? My squash is about to come in. My eggplants are looking really good. So that's also a side thing I'm doing right now.
Magnolias are out. The Magnolias.
The what?
Magnolias are out.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
they do their own thing.
I was in her yard yesterday, so I saw this in action, and it looks great.
I just want to know, because as someone who was a fan,
to be part of the Lost Treasures. Wait, sorry.
Yeah, I know. Before Lita took my job, I want to know, as someone who was growing up and watching you guys put on classics in the ring, at that time, did you realize what you were doing, or you look back now and you're like, wow, we really leveled the game up for the entire women's division?
That's exactly what we said when we walked out. We were like, we just leveled the fucking game, is what we said. No.
You did.
No.
You did, though.
No, the truth is we had no idea No idea. We honestly just wanted to not suck at these opportunities we were being given that were like, we're in the main event? Oh my God. And we just said we knew we were being given the ball and we just had to run.
Yeah, we did know that we were given, the Attitude Era was full of there are no rules. And
so many stars. So for you guys to be in the main event, that's something in and of itself.
Yeah, it's true, right?
Yeah.
I think you're right. It was pretty awesome, guys, right?
We had a lot of stars to choose from to be in
you
that
are
main event.
correct. No, it's funny because we talk about, of course, our main event, which was the first ever and kind of historic, and now looking back on it, still talked about today, which is amazing. But, there's things like we were put in this main event, the one we always talk about is the main event match with you and Triple H. No, you and The Rock. Me and
Rock, yeah.
Me and Triple H. And just even things like that, just having to be in that spot with those guys and knowing like, okay, can they carry themselves within this context? It was amazing and so much fun to look back on now.
There definitely felt extra pressure. Like, mind you, we were green as grass in the business in this time. There was no performance center. There was on-the-job training, which happened to be on live television. So, yeah, when we were in the ring when we would get thrown in. And the cool thing about that Attitude Era, it did feel like it was a real mix of the whole locker room. But so, yeah, when we would be in segments with Kurt Angle or the Boss's Daughter or The Rock and Triple H and Undertaker and Stone Cold.
Yeah.
There was a little more pressure that night. Not that you ever wanted to go out there and mess up,
right.
But there was like really
these guys
really don't mess up.
Yeah, these guys are probably not going to mess up for sure. So we need to so then we went out there and re-represented.
You mentioned the backstage segments with the Boss's Daughter, with Austin, with The Rock. Did you ever feel pressured at all, or was everyone so welcoming in that position? Like, it's a very stressful world, I would imagine.
I mean, I think, of course, personally, you have your own, stresses. You want to be like, I want to do well. But I also think a lot of us were newer, and like everyone was kind of in this era. Like we look back, and everybody was like, it was their time. It gave us a great chance to learn from, you're right there in front of them. You get to learn from everyone around you. But yeah, always pressure. But I think that was what makes you a good performer is using that pressure or that stress and turning it into a good thing and driving you, motivating you.
Yeah, I think as an athlete, you're harshest critic, and the most pressure is going to come from yourself. But I also feel like there was a lot of, that was the height of the Monday Night Wars, and there was a lot of, we're all on the same team.
Yeah.
So it's like welcoming wasn't necessarily the word as, all right, we got 2 new players to get in here and to just keep trying to level up, as AJ said, but raise the bar and just get the higher ratings that night. Of course, we had friends all over at WCW and that we're keeping in touch, and we would all run over to the hotel and have our own Nitro party afterwards, which was sitting in someone's hotel, texting our friends, being like, "No way, I can't believe you said that," because we would have it on in the locker room, but you'd miss it because
you
were
mentioned
working.
WCW, and Rock just put out his documentary on fall of WCW. Did you get to a point in 2000, or probably about the time you're coming in, where you're like, we've got this one?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, we were confident in our product.
I do. There was that Shane McMahon Club La Vila situation that I think we did.
We're like, we won.
did got the W for sure on that day.
Yeah. So
I always want to know, like, obviously you guys are linked together in your careers. Like, it's one of those things. It's like, obviously you're both individually great stars and legends and Hall of Famers, but like you say Trish, you say Lita, you say Lita, you say Trish.
You
like,
say Rock, you say Austin.
Exactly.
It's like, yeah, it's like
Hogan, Andre. Like, it's just, you're linked. So like, were you guys close before that, or did you become like closer after the fact?
We started becoming close the day we met, which was before we were ever in a dark match or on TV. But because we were hired within a couple months of each other, we did kind of like, we were the new girls, and we kind of looked to each other for safety, and like, I don't know what I'm doing. Do you know what you're doing? You don't know what you're doing
What's
either.
This thing about you gotta like shake hands with everybody? Like, do we do that together? Do we want individually? Yeah, there was a lot of that. We went through that together, which also is what bonded us, right? And then our careers ran parallel, our entire career. And then in retirement, oh my, why did I get goosebumps about this? It's so nice. I know.
It is, like, we do really love doing these and talking about this and meeting you guys, and it does mean a lot for, like, many of you, like, grew up with us, and we, to get to have a moment. I know it was a little rushed out there today, but those connections that we do get to make, it's not lip service. Like, we really are appreciative, and for us to get to hang out together. Like we're
like,
it.
you know, like 25 years later, we still get to come see you guys. You guys appreciate us, but we're also, you know, now your offspring also is watching us. You know, we had the
Good job, parents.
Good job,
Raising
you know,
them right.
leading them down the right path. But we got to go back, obviously, last year together, sharing that WrestleMania moment. So things like that, it's we just feel so grateful, and it's fun.
I just want to tell one story before we get to the Q&A. This is my first like actual interaction with Trish. Okay, it's at the Hall of Fame. It's like Hall of Fame 2 years ago, and like I had said hello. We've said pleasantries.
I remember that.
And so it's right before we're supposed to go out, and we're already late. And Drew McIntyre's tie is too small, and he can't close it, right? So he's trying to find like a bobby pin to like clip it together so it'll just stay in one place. So, I go. I'm like looking for him, and I go to like the makeup table asking any of the ladies have a bobby pin. And I'm like, did anybody have a bobby pin? And Trisha's like, yeah, I got one. Hold on. And she reaches in her pocket. She pulls out like this, and I go, and her hand's empty. And she's like, no, I don't have any bobby pins. I don't know why you thought that I would.
So you got introduced to the sarcasm right off the bat.
And I was like, okay, well, that was great because I just got played by Trish Stratus. But,
That's amazing.
You know, I still need a bobby pin now, so let me go find one and mark later. You know what I'm saying?
As you were telling the story, I was going, that doesn't sound like me. Or like, I don't carry bobby pins. That's amazing. I had one for that particular moment. No, I didn't. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, figures.
Well, we do want to open it to questions from y'all. I may repeat some of the questions for our TV viewers, but go right ahead.
Yeah, this one's for Lita. So you took a FU from Cena through a table once, I think a couple times actually. And where does that rank on the list of your most painful or say least favorite bumps?
FUs from Cena, how are they?
Through a table.
When I was teamed up with Edge, we had about a year stint with John Cena. So we were at live events all together and in and out storylines for the better part of a year. So they do all kind of run together. Yeah. But I would say with our feud and everything with Edge and Cena, because we went together for so long, it was always really fun because we had that great, I don't know if you've listened to other wrestlers talk about but that telepathy where all we had to do was look at each other and we knew what to feed for and how to make the most of each moment. So I'm sure the pain, it was there, but because we were having a good time doing what we love to do, which is entertain the fans, you're going to let that pain go.
It's a good pain. It's a good pain.
And anyone else, once again, we want to thank Farrah and Farrah for sponsoring this. Who's next? In the back.
You could turn back the clock to the day you first started doing this and do it all over again. What is one thing, if anything, would you change?
What would you change?
I'd maybe put some reinforcements in my knee pads.
Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't change a thing. I feel like it was just everything happened I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And I think everything, there was moments where I was like, I can't believe, but there was a reason why it was happening. I was pretty satisfied with everything,
Stratified?
Stratified, yeah.
Right down there in front.
I mean, if there is, we available. What I'm saying?
Well, that brings me to a question that we've been wondering. What is your availability as far as wrestling goes? Has retirement been discussed? Can you say anything about that?
What is retire? What I don't know. I'm not familiar with this word. I don't know anything about this word.
I think that answers the question.
We just stay ready. I mean, that's just a general statement that we like to live by, just in case.
Which is good because, as you know, if anyone in here is a WWE fan, you don't usually have a lot of heads up on what you're doing or what the plan is, and if you did, it most likely will change. It was kind of informed myself to never get too excited until you walk through the curtain, because I'm like, they might be like, hey, you're going to do this today, and I'm like, that sounds awesome. I was like, that's cool,
okay.
that's cool, whatever, because it could change 5 times between when you're presented with an idea to when it is executed.
So keep that in mind.
ECW in front.
First and foremost, thank you for everything you've done for women's wrestling.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you.
We see more inclusivity in women's wrestling, match types, time, and even titles with the new title being presented at NXT. What do you all think, and what would you all love to see for women's wrestling
I think something that might really change the landscape would be, it's kind of like, a bit of a nod to the old days, but like also the current days. And I think like Trish and Lita as tag team champions would be super cool.
Yes.
Yes. It just came to my mind. It just.
Is there anybody that, any lady, or it could be a guy too, it's 2024, you can fight whoever the hell you want. I'll take the bump, I promise you I will. Is there anybody that you haven't worked yet, and it doesn't have to be in WWE, but obviously that's where you would probably do it, that you haven't worked yet, both of you, that you would like to?
I mean, I could just roll out a laundry list because there's so many talented people, both men and women out there, just raising the bar. I do think there would be something poetic with, I know that, Bailey has documented that, she got into wrestling watching us, and it's been fun coming back, having these like full circle moments that really just seem poetic. So I think something there could be fun. It was really nice mixing it up with Becky for like the same reasons. But yeah, and it also is just to see, I mean, Bailey, like, gosh, it's been such a long time coming, for her to be where she is now. So I'm just really proud to see her up there as champ. Yeah.
So you want to become champion?
One question.
I mean, I'm gonna go for
I mean,
the
if
top.
she's gonna, yeah, why not? It's funny you speak of, or what's her bestie's name? What's her name? Bailey's bestie is.
Ladies?
Oh yeah. Her and I, had a little interaction at 2018 at the Royal Rumble, and it's
I think she's available.
Is she available? So I just have to go.
Hey,
she's
money's
available.
still green.
So one thing about when WCW folded, you brought in people like Tori, Stacy Keibler, Victoria, all the others. Did you realize we've got something going here as far as an actual division? Like it's more a 50-50 company as opposed to what it historically had been prior to 2000?
Well, I think
we were a long way away
Yeah.
from there when those.
I think to me, when we were talking about bringing someone in from another division, when Jazz showed up, that was like, okay, we might have a little something here now.
Okay.
Jazz love, I'm here for that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Like Jazz and Molly Holly coming in.
We're like,
Molly
okay.
Holly is the nicest lady ever.
Business about to pick up was, one of those moments for sure. Those guys, yeah.
Gail Kim, she was kind of in that, like people that actually had some experience because there weren't a lot of women in wrestling at the time. So yeah, of course they're, learning as they're going, but these were as women started to come in with some actual training, that's, when we're like, okay, let's go.
Of course, me, the new person, I was like, oh my God, these guys are really good.
Yes, ma'am, right in there.
Something that they haven't really brought back to WWE, that both of you in the past have taken bumps from men, you've kicked men's asses. What do you think about intergender wrestling and like that potentially happening in the future? Do you think that's a positive thing for women's wrestling or negative?
Intergender wrestling.
I mean, I am all for no gender gap, and let's why not? It's a great idea, and we did it, and it was great, and created some memorable and great moments. However, I do have to say there are moments where I watch back some of the stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, it doesn't look good sometimes, But it's in the name of entertainment and doing it properly. I think it's great, and I like to just we always say too, like you're my favorite women's wrestler, and then someone will erase and go, actually, you guys are my favorite wrestlers, and we kind of love that, or like that was the best. Or this is a women's match on the card. That's just the match on the card. Because those two characters, contributed enough to make you excited about that spot. So, the lines are kind of blurred on that response, right?
Yeah, and I think that it's fun. It's something that you can see in professional wrestling versus other sports because we can get creative and we can preserve the size and strength difference between two different characters and still make it fun and make it entertaining and catch you off guard right when you think that, and I would even go back as like when you talk about intergender, but I think about like Kevin Nash versus Rey Mysterio. It's like you're playing with this David and Goliath kind of thing, and you can't do that you can do that with like a highly funded team versus like an underdog team, but you're still like physically competitive, whereas like when you get that size difference, I think it makes it really interesting. And
I think it's really cool because like it's still like more so today, it's coming back more in a lot of different promotions. Like in TNA, like I just won the digital media title at TNA. The first digital media champion was Jordan Grace.
Yeah.
So like, and like Steph DeLander in TNA is doing stuff with the men too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there's a lot of room for that
Yes.
now that, you know, for the past 20 years really hasn't been there. It's just got to be the company has to get behind it.
Yeah,
That's all it is,
absolutely.
really.
But we're all ready for it, yes?
Go ahead over on the side.
Okay, I have a question for both of you. Do you have any unfinished business that you want to go after, maybe?
Unfinished business with other stars.
Gil Kim's in TNA, I'm just saying.
Did you have to bring that up?
Did you bring that up on Thank you for the question that I wrote down for you to
So the
ask.
thing,
Yes.
we've kind of resolved our differences, okay? But not really, obviously, because she's getting a little heated. Thanks a lot for bringing that up. Thanks. Oh, maybe you want to see us fight. That's what you're doing. You want to see us fight. Wait.
Fight first, then tag team champs
Yeah,
after
wait,
that.
what do
Settle
we
our
like? Do we like the
differences.
team up?
Okay, uh-huh.
Do we like the team? So team up, do the whole
Team win.
tournament.
Yeah, full year storyline.
All right.
Full year storyline.
Oh yeah, we like it. Okay, 1 year. Oh, we got to check our schedule. 1 year. They were requesting a
Okay,
1
yeah.
year.
All right, I need to get
storyline.
those reinforcements and my knee pads.
What
Got
are you
it?
doing? Are you available? We need some. You
Oh,
know,
I'll be the
backup.
special guest ref for sure.
Fantastic.
Like
I can count to 3.
Perfect.
You can't see me.
Trish, I watched you and Lita go through some of the wildest matches through the years when I was in high school. I saw you once, I think, in a bra and panties match.
No, I don't think that was me. I don't.
And I think I saw you once in a gravy bowl match.
Yeah, I don't know.
We saw these things, yes.
Yes, we did. Yes. Let's talk about
The question
them.
is,
My question is, of all the matches you've, competed in throughout the years, what do you think has been like the wildest?
Wildest match.
So they're okay. Let me say the gravy match, the bra and panties, panty on a pole mat. Probably the steel cage match I had recently.
yeah, yeah, great answer.
That one.
His hat, you can't see me, makes me think of guys like Cena and The Rock. I want to get your opinion on the mainstreaming of pro wrestling when you came out. You're doing Canada's Got Talent right now. Talk to me about what that's done for the industry to take wrestling out of where it was in the 80s and 90s, except Hulk Hogan, and then up to where they're all excelling. What was that like?
What's it like to see it happening?
Yeah.
Oh, it's been great. I mean, it obviously opens the doors for life after wrestling, first of all, or maybe during wrestling. And it's, you're seeing just more opportunities, more eyeballs and new people. And, because I think for a while, you'd be like, I'm a wrestling fan. I'm like, oh my God, me too. Like, it was like closeted in a way, right? Niche-y. But it's just expanding the eyeballs that we have on our product, and it's been great to see. And obviously, Ronda Rousey was an example of that, bringing in new eyeballs and fresh faces to our shows and stuff. So it's been really cool to have that crossover.
And as we are, wrestlers, you realize it is a lot of skill set into one. And so it does kind of lend itself to different, there's a lot of improv involved and a lot of thinking on your feet and becoming, connecting with an audience, which lends itself to many roles outside of the ring.
Bingo.
So it does just kind of make sense that that's where this is going.
Yeah, and we got to thank Fair and Fairer again for putting this Q&A together. We got time for one more question.
One more question.
We'll
Let's
make it
go
a good
right in the
one.
corner in the hat.
Got a great question. Too sweet one. Me and you versus Bailey and Sami Zayn.
Me?
Okay.
Next
Which one?
question.
Who's on whose team? Who's up?
You and I?
Let's do one
with
more.
Sammy?
Right
More
in
of a
front of the
statement.
camera, in the black.
You guys are both amazing. Out of all of the moves that you have mastered, what made you feel the most accomplished?
Which move made you feel the most accomplished?
Ooh.
That's a great question. I've
Yeah.
never even heard that posed before.
Whoa.
I don't know the answer to this.
I don't know.
Usually we know each other's answers, but still I'm like,
I don't know this one. I mean, because I feel like so many of the moves that ended up being more technical, I didn't know they were. I had what I call kid power, which is cross your fingers, hold your breath, and hope for the best. So I think, like, looking back, the ease and the power that I felt doing the Hurricanrana, it would probably be like where I would be the answer to
Yeah.
that question.
God, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to go back to when I did this superplex off of a 15-foot there was a steel cage, and that felt pretty accomplished.
How do you get up from that?
Because it didn't break. So I was happy about that.
How do you get up from that?
Slowly. You
Slowly,
got a long 10 count
with caution,
to get up from that.
With caution, yeah.
Well, Trish Stratus, Lita, the VIPs today, thank you for joining us
Thank
today.
you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you guys so much.
So I want to thank Trish and Lita for taking the time out to sit down with us. Of course, Fair and Fair sponsored this event. We were happy they were able to help out. And Top Dollar for being there. AJ Francis for helping out with those questions. Such a fun episode. Really interesting to hear. When I brought up retirement, Trish was like, I don't know what that word means. A hint, she may not be going anywhere anytime soon, but it was a fun show. Fun to sit down with them. Great ladies. Really the stars among stars. And we were so happy to have them here on Going Ringside. And happy you could be with us. We got a lot more stars coming later on this summer, all throughout the year. So thanks for joining on this episode. We'll see you here next time.
This has been Going Ringside with The Local Station, brought to you every Wednesday on your favorite podcast player, on News4 Jax Plus, as well as the News4 Jax YouTube channel.